What's going on, everybody? John with ACTION-FLIX.com coming at you better late than never. Yes, I was supposed to do this last night. As you can see, it says Superman out of theater reaction. I'm not out of the theater. I was out of the theater last night, but you know what? Life intervenes like it always does. I was going to do this late last night, and then by the time everything got situated and everything got put to rest. And I was like, you know what? Nobody's going to be up anyway. So I will just wait till this morning to do my official out of the theater reaction to James Gunn's Superman, the inaugural entry into the DCU. Yes, 2 years ago, it was announced that James Gunn, we know him, the prolific filmmaker, Guardians of the Galaxy, he did for the MCU. I find it kind of funny that he did the MCU, now he's doing DC. So it's like, how many directors can say that? But anyways, Slither, one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Nathan Fillion crushed it in that movie. Of course, he crushes it in this movie too, and I'll get into that a little bit. So him and Peter Safran were announced as the head of the DCU, the DC Studios, kind of like what Kevin Feige is for Marvel Studios. Disney put him in charge and everything. So here we are. The movie's out. Well, it's not out. It comes out Thursday. This is Wednesday morning as I'm recording this. Tomorrow night, everybody will be able to officially go see it. But last night was the official screening, advanced screening for Amazon Prime users, which I am. And I got the opportunity to see it at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time here in Panama City Beach at the Grand Pier, which is a fabulous movie theater. Can't complain. Every time I go there, I always have a great experience. And, it is what it is with prices and stuff like that. We can talk all day about prices and food and all that stuff. I didn't get anything to eat. Funny story. I was like, you know what? I don't know. I didn't want to have to go to the restroom during this movie. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just drink something when I get out. I had dinner beforehand. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to eat beforehand, give myself enough time to digest, then go to the bathroom if I had to before the movie, and then I'll watch the movie, and then I'll eat afterwards. And it was all a success, I must say. I didn't have to get up or anything. I was able to stay seated the whole entire time, and it was great. So this is a non-spoiler, out of theater, the next day reaction on the ACTION-FLIX podcast. And it's hard to do these when you can't really spoil anything. As you can see, I bought some posters. I hung them up here to give the ambiance of Superman, if you will. So let me give you just some history here. Okay, so again, as you can see, I love this shirt too. As you can see, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to show it. It says Superman going down, and then I just love this picture of him from the back and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy that. I did wear this one though. I have this shirt with his S on it, and that's what I wore to the screening last night. So pretty much everybody knew why I was there in the first place. And just to let you know that I'm currently writing my written review, non-spoiler written review. So like a week from now or a few weeks from now, this will be more fun to talk about because, I respect other fans and moviegoers, and I don't spoil things. I mean, I'm going to talk about some things, but pretty much everything I'm going to talk about isn't a big deal. It's not a spoiler. I'm not going to tell you like what surprises there were or what the plot is really truly essentially about. I mean, you could get, and again, you could get to the fact that, watching the trailers and everything, Lex Luthor hates Superman and wants to crush him and, destroy him and everything. That's pretty much the plot. It gets a little bit more, involved as the movie goes on, of course, but doing these non-spoiler reviews are always hard to do. But as the CEO of ACTION-FLIX.com and thus the ACTION-FLIX podcast, everybody else does it. They get more views than I do, though. But you know what? Screw it. I'm doing it anyways. And how many people watch this is how many people watch this. We are live, though. So if you see me hanging out, you want to pop in. If you saw the movie last night, if you're one of the fortunate ones to go see it on the Amazon Prime advanced screening, then by all means jump on in. If not, I'll just talk by myself for a little bit and then go back to writing my review before I have to go to work. I have to go to work today and work all day long. Yep, that's how my life is. So, but I digress. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so 2 years ago, James Gunn and Peter Safran were announced as the heads of DC Studios. And of course, a lot has been said about what happened before with the DCEU, Zack Snyder, Warner Brothers, Henry Cavill. And again, I'm a fan of Henry Cavill. I'm a huge fan of Henry Cavill and what he did with the role and what Zack Snyder did. But here's the thing, and again, I'm on board with everybody else that's saying this is the Superman that we need. Okay, now let me just say, I'm going to read you some snippets from my review that I'm currently writing. This is the title of my review, unless I change in the 11th hour. But the title is James Gunn's inaugural entry into the DCU is a breathtaking homage to the past while fiercely reshaping the future for the Man of Steel and what is to come. No spoilers. There you go. So where to start and not spoil anything. Okay, so the biggest thing, and this is not spoiled because Gunn has said this in interviews and everybody's pretty much, showcased it on the internet, everything. There is not an origin story, thank the good Lord. So we don't have to see him come from Krypton. We know Krypton blew up. We know his family died. We know they sent him here to help humanity. And we know, so it's just like Batman. How many times can you see the Waynes get killed and the Pearls? It's like Gunn's even said he's like, we don't need to see this anymore. Even if you're a mainstream casual movie going fan, you know the history of Batman and Superman, so you don't need no spoiler. I mean, no origin stories. So with that, Gunn throws you right into the action, literally into the action. The movie opens with the DC Studios logo, and then there's some words on the screen which pretty much says he came from Krypton. And it's kind of cool because they're like 30 years ago, then 3 years ago, and then 3 days ago, and then 30 minutes ago. And then it starts off right with the trailer where you see him crashing into the snow and Crypto saving him. Again, not a spoiler. It's in the movie. I'm just saying it's at the beginning. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. So he throws you right into the action. He's Superman. David Corenswet has been his Clark Kent has been Superman for a few years now. He's even going out with Lois Lane. He's the intrepid reporter for the Daily Planet, as well as she is too. They are already an item, although Lois isn't really sure about the relationship because, as she states in the movie, she says she's not really good with relationships. They're like night and day, yin and yang. Okay, so which is great. Gunn really kind of has that come across on the screen. So they're already seeing each other. He's already Superman. People know Superman's around. People know that many humans are around. So Gunn throws you right into the thick of things. And listen, for 2 hours and 9 minutes, I think this movie is. And there are after credits scenes. I will say there's two. There's one after the initial credits at the end, and then there's one at the very end when the credits stop rolling. They're not groundbreaking or ground shaking by any means necessary, but they are fun. That's all I'm going to say. One's literally like 5 seconds long, and the other one is a little bit longer. But it's not, if you're looking to have the way to be like, oh, they're going to set something up for the next. Nope. Gunn already said that. He's like, I listen, aside from one cameo, other than that, boom, there's nothing else that is going. This is Superman's movie. And Gunn said that all along. Listen, we know other people are coming. We know Batman's eventually going to come. We know Supergirl's now filming. We know Jason Momoa is Lobo. Peacemaker season 2's coming. And so Gunn said it best when he said, listen, I'm not going to stuff all this into one movie, similar to what they did in the DCEU with Batman versus Superman, where it was essentially 3 movies. It was a sequel to Man of Steel. It was a Batman solo movie. And then it was the birth of the Justice League, all crammed into one movie. I loved it. I'll fight it all day. But this is Superman's movie. So again, if you're looking for that, you're going to be sorely disappointed. I mean, hopefully you're not disappointed in that. I mean, it's like, listen, we'll get stuff in the future. So right now, let's just enjoy the fact that we have a Superman movie and a great Superman movie. And I'm just going to spoil it right now. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I know I'm going to take heat for that, and I don't care. Listen, when I give my ratings, it's how I enjoyed it, and I defend my ratings, and I defend why I gave it that rating, but it all boils down to my enjoyment of the movie. And this was me in the movie. Listen, is it perfect? No, but you have to ask yourself, is it perfect to you? And I wrote this in my review. That's the thing. Movies are art. Art is open to interpretation. One person's garbage is another person's treasure. And again, I'm going to have friends. I hang out with people that already have condemned this movie. before it even came out. They watched the trailer. It's gonna suck. Listen, I did not think it sucked, and I'll fight you on it. I was like, I'll come up with my ideas why it did suck, and you can come up with your ideas why it did suck. But it is a masterpiece of comic book filmmaking. James Gunn knows how to cook. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart man. Listen, love him or hate him, and I love him. I haven't watched a James Gunn movie that I have not liked. I loved all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, even number 3. A lot of people had issues with 3, and some people had issues, with the second one too. Nope, I loved them all. I mean, listen, number 3 got a little like overblown and overstuffed and everything, but other than that, but I didn't condemn it by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I love Slither. I love all of his movies. So when he came on board the DC studios, I was excited. I was like, listen, dude, this is legit. They got James Gunn. Again, the man knows what he's doing when it comes. He loves comic books. He's like me. He's like you who loves comic books. He loves these characters. And listen, I had faith in James Gunn all along because he would not make this movie, because basically Superman is the heartbeat of the DC studios right now. DC Studios lives and breathes by this movie. You can say no, you can say yes, but if this movie doesn't make money over the weekend, and I think it's going to, because right now the Rotten Tomato score is like, it's way up there. And it should be, because it's a great movie. And I know people are going to complain about some of the things in it, and I can't really complain about a lot because it'll give things away, so it's kind of hard. But I'm not going to complain, because why? Like, the nitpicks I have, it's like, who cares? And there's going to be one character that kind of comes in that nobody was expecting, and the way that they're handled, I know there's going to be some heat for it, but I loved it. I thought it was enjoyable. So we got David Cornsweet. David Cornsweet was born to play Superman. I am sorry. And I know people have been bitching, oh, he's yelling and screaming in the trailers. This is a Superman that isn't perfect. Even Superman's not perfect. Yes, he comes from Krypton. Yes, he has his power. He has the powers of a guy because of the sun and everything. But he's not perfect. He lets his emotions get the best of him sometimes. He's human. Even though he comes from a different planet, he's been born and raised a human being. So he's like you and me in that sense, but it's worse because he's got like this alter ego where he's not human. He's an alien. And Cornsweet displays this perfectly on the screen. And a lot of people were bitching about the interview scene where Lois is like, you'd let me interview Superman. And then he starts getting heated because she starts questioning him about going into Boravia and, stopping the war. Did you consult with the president? Was it a legal action? He gets upset, and it's okay. Superman can get upset. It's all right, people. So like Henry Cavill Superman, like that man had like the only time he had emotion like was when he died in Batman versus Superman. And I'm not saying that was a bad thing, but David Cornsweet does his own thing with Superman, but with him doing his own thing as Superman, knocks out of the park. He looks super, and again, the uniform too, the outfit or whatever you want, the suit. I love the suit. The suit looks great in the movie. A lot of people were bitching about the suit too, but you know what? I love the suit. I think it looks phenomenal. I love the trunks on the outside, and everybody was bitching about. I'm like, it's in the early comics. It's on the outside. People do not read the comic, but they're like. And I love Cornsweet's reasoning why the trunks are on the outside. And again, if you've heard him in interviews, he said, so that way he's approachable. That way he looks silly. Like kids can come up to him. He's got his trunks on the outside because he knows he's a domineering, imposing figure. But he wants to be accessible to the people, especially the kids. That's why he wears the trunks on the outside. I love that excuse. I love that reasoning. I'm all for it. And again, we all know Henry Cavill's Superman did not have trunks. It was and it looked like a Matrix outfit. And again, I'm not dissing it. I liked it, but I like this a lot better. And I love how it's generated, on the screen. So I'm going to do a share screen here. And like I said, I did not get a chance to do this out of theater last night like I wanted to, but this is my initial post I did last night for my so I did do an out of theater reaction if you think about it. So I did this on Facebook and X and Instagram last night. So here's what I said. I said, okay. So again, I said I was going to give my out of theater reaction tonight, but life intervened once again, like it always does, and it did. Like I said, I had issues with my glasses. My glasses broke. All kinds of stuff happened last night, and it wasn't bad. It was just to the point where it was like 11 o'clock Central Time, and it was midnight Eastern time. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not doing it tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. All right. So I read that James Gunn's Superman breathtakingly pays homage to the past while blowing the doors off of the future of the newly formed DCU with bombastic, big screen comic book theatrics and a new legit, yes, I said it, new legit Man of Steel and David Cornsweet. A true and authentic love letter to fans worldwide of the OG superhero and all superheroes in general. Gunn understands this genre and knows how to cook it. This is why we go to the movies. Yes, this is why we go to the movies. And I think people have forgotten that. I have been excited for movies before. I get excited for action movies. I'm a big action cinema nerd. But my excitement for Superman was off the charts. And I was scared because I was like, man, I have never felt like this before. And again, it's the nostalgic thing kicking in again. And people, oh, you're just like that because of this. Listen, yes, I'm 52 and I've had a really bad couple of years, So you know what? So it's like I was excited for this movie because this brings me back to 1978 and being in that movie, or 1979, and being in that movie theater and seeing a man fly. And I had already kind of got into the comic books a little bit, but I was 5, so it's not like I was reading, but I looked at the pictures and everything, and this is what I needed, and James Gunn gave it to me. It is what it is. But also at the same time, it's a great movie. It is a great comic book movie. Is it the best comic book movie ever? Well, of course, we could debate that till we're blue in the face. So you could come up with other movies that are I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is in my top 3 right now, although I might have to do some shuffling around. But Zack Snyder's Justice League was in my top 3, or is still right now as we speak, in my top 3 all-time favorite comic book movies of all time. My top 3 were Endgame. Yes, I thought Endgame cooked it. It was chef's kiss. Zack Snyder's Justice League and The Winter Soldier. I think The Winter Soldier is by far the best that the MCU has even put out. So going back to what I wrote, and yes, and this brought me back to 1978 and the fateful opening weekend. And once again, a movie made me believe that not only could a man fly, but he could embody all that is good in humanity. This has been, without a doubt, 2 of the most trying years of my life. And for 2+ hours, I forgot about it all and grinned from ear to ear like that 5-year-old boy who sat in that theater all those years ago. 5 out of 5 for me, and hands down my favorite movie of the year. Look Up. So there's my official out of theater reaction. Yes, I gave it a 5 out of 5. I apologize in advance. No, I don't apologize. Why am I apologizing? I know who I am and I know what I love. Okay. So we got Derpy Entertainment. Oh, thank you for chiming in. He says, dude, and he says, I think James Gunn's Superman is top 3 now. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, I got to think about it. Like I said, it's still fresh in my mind. I'm going again this weekend. I'm working all weekend, but I think I'm going to be able to see it either Thursday night again or Friday before I go to work, because I work later on Friday. So I'm going to go see it again in IMAX, and I'm going to watch it again, because you watch, there's nothing like watching a movie for the first time, and watching Superman for the first time last night, the culmination of everything. It was just like it was a lot to take in. It was, dare I say, it was symbolic of many things. All right, so we got Derby Entertainment says James Gunn manages to cook up a DC movie that both Marvel and DC fans have been waiting for since the first one. It felt like a Saturday morning cartoon. Thank you. Yes. And again, that's not a bad thing. People are saying, oh, it's a cartoon. I'm like, okay. Superman, the animated series of Superman is one of the best animated shows of all time. So this reminding you of that is okay. It's okay. And he says, it's super fantastic. David Cornsweet is Superman. Thank you for chiming in. That's awesome. Thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting. Yes, again, and I could go on and on. Rachel Brosnahan, she is my Lois Lane. I know Margot Kidder, she's the GOAT. Christopher Reeve, listen, is the GOAT. Margot Kidder is the GOAT. Gene Hackman, I mean, although you can make a play for Michael Rosenbaum because he killed it in the 7 years he was on Smallville. But Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, oh my God. All three of them, they are the essential, the trinity in this movie. Without their performances, this movie takes. But Rachel Brosnahan is sexy, gorgeous. She's got swagger. She kills it. She is Lois Lane. She brings the she's, and again, she's got her faults. She doesn't trust, and she doesn't do, she doesn't take things on face value like Superman does. Like Superman, Clark Kent, he wants to see the good in everybody. And at the time she's like, we're totally different people. I see the bad, you see the good. How can we have a relationship? And that is awesome too, that James did that too. And we have a comment on Nicholas Hoult. It could be the yes. Well, okay, again. Listen, Nicholas Hoult passes Michael. Like, you could sit there and come up with arguments for everybody. I mean, so like I said, I'm not going to say that again, I'm not going to do that in the sense where I'm like, okay, they're better than this. But listen, Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder are my essential Superman and Lois Lane because they're the ones I saw for the very first time on that humongous screen way back then in the 70s. So it's like, how can I, but I'm, it's not like I'm cheating on them. I still think they're awesome and great and iconic and exhilarating, but I can love this too. I'm sorry, but I do. David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan not only crush it as in their roles, but their chemistry is off the charts in this movie. They rock it. There's scenes together. You're just like, wow, this is the comic book. It is. The whole movie is the comic book coming off the page. And again, people are going to fight me on it, and they're going to say that, oh, this, that. Listen, when I read a Superman comic book, and yes, I started getting back into comic books a couple years ago. I read Superman comics all throughout my childhood years and into my teens. I did stop when I was adult for certain reasons, not because I wanted to, but now I've gotten back into it. Listen, this is the comic book ripped from the pages. James Gunn literally took the page. And again, there's the scene, and again, this isn't spoiling anything, where Superman blasts into Lex Luthor's office looking for the dog because the dog is missing. I love that scene. That's taken from the comic book too, but somebody complained that, oh, he wasn't complaining in the comic book about a dog. He was complaining that people died. Yes. Okay. So a dog missing and people. Yes, I see the point, but at the same time, it still works. And it still shows that even though Superman is not from this earth, he is a human being and he truly cares for this dog. Although there are things about this dog that come to pass that, I loved and everything. So you got the three of them, Hoult, Brosnahan, and Cornsweet. Cornsweet, again, it lives and dies by his performance. It does. If he is not Superman, if people don't go and say, like, this is Superman, the movie's not going to work. And I commend him for taking this role. If I was him, I would have been like, oh, it's like type of thing. But he was confident in himself. He was like, look, I'm going to take this role. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to make it my own. And he did. Listen, he does things as Superman that people aren't going to like, but I was totally fine with it. I was like, you know what? It's funny. It's humorous. It's heartfelt, so I was on board from the get-go. I'm sorry. I just love this movie, and you can fight me all day till you're blue in the face. So like I said, I'm writing my review right now. This is it on my iPad. So I'm just going to give you some brief snippets, if you will. Here's a paragraph, if you will. Gunn's Superman is a vibrant, exhilarating testament to the Silver Age of comics when heroes were good and villains were bad. It fantastically blends all that we have come to love with an eclectic merging of sci-fi, jaw-dropping action, and human emotion that is layered into a single film that explodes with hope, love, and mastery that hasn't been seen since The Wonderful Weekend back in the 70s. I might be letting nostalgia get the better of me, but that is far from a bad thing. So there's one paragraph for you that I wrote. Let me go on. And then I talk as much about the plot as I can, but it's nothing that's, there's no spoilers in it. And I talk about the characters. Some of the characters are downplayed more than others. And I did say in my review that Ma and Pa Kent, I would have liked to have seen more of them because I loved their performance. And like, this is the Ma and Pa Kent that we had Kevin Costner in the DCU. He's a great actor and everything, but this is Paquette. This is what I envisioned Paquette or Marquette. This is what I envisioned them in, and they were awesome at the same time. We got some more comments from Derpy Entertainment, and he says Corn Sweat is 2 for me now that he stops to Maurice is still 1 because he is the OG. Yes, but Corn Sweat performance has it really close. Okay. Sorry, I got my glasses on something. Sometimes it's hard to see. He also says, I would call Cavill. Okay, so yeah, so he says Cavill has dropped out. So it's Reeve, it's Corn Sweat. He's flip-flopping between the two. So let me go back again into my review here. So just give you some little snippets. Okay, so I talk about the action set pieces. So I say the action set pieces are worth the price of admission alone, and each altercation is better than the previous with a rousing finale that plays on the skies of Metropolis. Yes, and I've heard complaints. We've seen the destruction of the city before, but it's essential, people. Listen, I'll take a city getting demolished any day, like with superheroes fighting over it. If not, you don't love the genre, so go watch something else. But it is essential for the story, and Superman battling bad guys throughout the year is simply marvelous, with one instance giving me chills. There is one moment in the finale where I was just like, and again, I'm going to talk about the music too. Again, we all know John Williams' score is in there, but John Murphy, who did the original music, again, he blends the old and the new, merges it together, and Gunn uses it to full effect. And this scene, it's in the trailer. When he's zipping around with the I-beams, oh my God. Like leading up to that moment, and then they do it where he flies up, and then it gets a shot of the S, and then the scene where Crypto rips the guy's helmet off, and then he punches him and the teeth come flying towards the screen. It's freaking awesome. I'm sorry, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm not gonna make apologies, people. Listen, this is what it should be, and this is the way it is, and that's what I thought. And here's a good one I wrote. I say Gunn does his best to immerse. A typo. I'll have to fix that. Gunn does his best to immerse the audience in the mayhem, and he expertly choreographs the sequences so they leave us feeling dazzled and not dizzy. Yes, while utilizing all the effects that he can muster. I heard that some people were not a fan of some of the CGI, but I was more than fine with all of it and was engulfed with the sheer madness of it all. So I really there's one moment where I was kind of like, but it was supposed to look like that. So I was just like, I didn't have any issues with the CGI. I mean, this is a CGI heavy movie, people. It's a Superman movie. So yes, you're going to have a lot of CGI. So sometimes when you have a lot of CGI, you know, sometimes it could get a little wonky. All right. But I never had an issue with it. So basically, this is how I summed it up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nope. And I'm talking about with Christopher Reeve style Superman. Okay. I'm not talking with listen, and all you Snyder bros out there, the haters and everything, listen, deal with it. You know, take some Valium, go seek therapy, whatever the case may be. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Gunn knows this, and with that, he ushers in a new age of excitement, bewilderment, and fun. This is what the MC used to be like before it lost its way, and hopefully they get it back. But I feel Gunn has watched and learned from his time with that company, and he will do right by all these characters when all is said and done. Superman is a beacon of light, strength, and humanity, and I find it fitting that he's not of this world at all, as the real world would benefit from someone like him. Like, listen, this world sucks, especially this country right now. It's in the crapper. I'm not going to lie. So, like, we could use Superman right now. This Superman is a vibrant, colorful, intoxicating film that is ripped from the very pages of the comics that it represents to its fullest. It's a return to form for the genre that so desperately needed a recharge. And with that, Gunn has given it to us in spades. So that's a little bit of my review that I'm currently writing now. It will be out today before the movie comes out tomorrow. I just have to fine tune it, and I have to put it. And again, the music, like I said, superhero movies, like these kind of epic movies, these scale and scope movies, live and also die by their themes and their music and everything. And with here, we have our superhero film. Yes, it takes from John Williams, but it's paying homage. It's saying, hey, this is the past. This is the future. Let's put them together. Let's not forget about the past. We could never forget about the past, but let's forge our own new path and put it together. And I love the music. I have it on my phone, and and I listened to it in the car driving home last night, full blaring with my windows down because it was 85 in Panama City Beach. All right, so I'm about a half an hour, so that's pretty much what I got to say. It's everything I could have wanted in a Superman movie, and I can't wait to see where this goes, where Superman goes, Batman, all of it, Peacemaker. We know we're getting that. I have not seen Creature Commandos yet, just because I haven't had time. And again, Frank Grillo's in Superman. He's not in it a lot, but he does have an impact. You know, we all know that he's Rick Flag Sr. And he's kind of, I love his character right now because he's kind of in the middle. Like, he's not sure about anything. All he knows is, you know, his son got killed, and, you know, he's kind of on that war path, you know, type of thing. So yeah, so Frank Grillo really is a great actor, and having him in the movie, even for just a little bit, phenomenal. But this, it filled me with hope, pride. And it made me feel like that 5-year-old kid again, reading the comic books for the first time, watching Christopher Reeve for the first time. And listen, that's what you want. I don't want to go in and, you know, and to say to myself, oh, okay, yeah, that was a Superman movie. This is a Superman movie. This is a great start to the DCU. I know it's going to make money this weekend. It's getting great reviews. There's only some haters out there. And listen, if you hate the movie, God love you. You know, whatever makes you happy, go with it. But to me, I am going to watch this as many times as I can in the cinema. I'm going to get it on digital. I'm going to get it on 4K. I'm going to get the Steelbook. You know, I'm just going to, I ate it all up. It is the Superman movie we have been waiting for. David Cornsweet rocks it. Rachel Brosnahan is awesome and gorgeous, and she brings it all back to Lois Lane. Nicholas Hoult is fierce, sinister, and loathing as Lex Luthor. He brings a different vibe to the character. It's unsettling at times, which I thought was pretty awesome. You know, we all know Gene Hackman's, you know, he was just kind of like that ultra villain, you know, making the jokes and everything. Nicholas Hoult plays a more down key. I mean, he has his moments where he erupts, but it's just it's a phenomenal performance, and it's Lex Luthor. I mean, he is Lex Luthor. Like, and it's the biggest compliment I could get all three of them. David Cornsweet is Superman Clark Kent, Rachel Brosnahan is Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor. And how can we forget about the Justice Gang? I'm sorry, I almost forgot about Justice Gang. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, you know, Green Lantern. He's awesome when he's in it. He's funny. He's Nathan Fillion. What are you gonna do? He is who he is. But he does an awesome job. Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl. Oh, she does a great job. And also Metamorpho, awesome job. And then Eddie Gaggi is Mr. Terrific. He steals the show, and I put that in there. He is so awesome in this movie as Mr. Terrific. Oh my God, it's awesome. And his interactions with the other characters, especially with Lois Lane, it's just awesome. Listen, okay, and I'm gonna stop from here because I'm going on for too long. This is just supposed to be a reaction video, and I went live just to show you how excited I was that I got to see this movie and tell you all about it. If you don't like it, well, then I'm sorry. You know, go watch a movie that you do like. But this is easily my top movie of 2025 right now, and I have loved some movies this year. The Accountant 2, I loved. I loved The Working Man with Jason Statham. I love Ballerina. I never got a chance to do a review for Ballerina, but I'm going to rectify that sooner or later because it's now on digital and it's going to be coming to Blu-ray and 4K. So I think when it does that, I'm going to do a proper review or just talk about it because I have not been able to talk about it. But Ana de Armas, she's an action star. That's all I gotta say about that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Superman, and this movie is a 5 out of 5 for me. It's essential. I got to put that in my review. It's essential comic book movie viewing. I mean, this is why you go. Listen, this is why you go to a movie in the summertime. This is why you go to the movies in the first place, to forget about your troubles. I walked in thinking about, okay, I got to do this, this, and this. When the movie started, I didn't think about shit. All I thought about was this movie and these people on the screen in IMAX with the sound, crushing it. James Gunn was awesome. And for that, I can only give it my highest compliment. It made me forget about everything for the 2+ hours I was watching it. So there you go, everybody. There's my out of theater the next day reaction to Superman. I apologize. I did not go live last night, but you're all probably in bed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I was finally able to do it. And can you sense my excitement? I hope you can. I hope it's just radiating out of the screen like Superman does for you when you go see it. And again, if you don't like it, let me know why. Let's talk. Let's chat, because I know people like, listen, this isn't going to go well with some people, but it's okay. If you get it, you get it. I got it. James Gunn understood the assignment, and that's all I'm going to say. So until next time, everybody, support this movie when it comes out this weekend. Let's make it make bank, and let's get this DC Studios off and rolling, because I am excited to see what James Gunn and Peter Safran have in the future, and David Gordon Sweat and Rachel Brosnahan and Nicholas Hoult and everybody else that's in the movie. They crushed it. 5 out of 5 for me. Until next time, everybody, have an awesome day. Remember, look up.